Hello, and welcome back to the definitive Starship review series without access to a proper table, where today I am really hoping we can get through a review with my Caretaker array model still intact. Yes, because today we are covering the, again, almost said USS, but the Caretaker's array from, of course, Voyager's The Caretaker. And I think whatever the one with the other Caretaker was. I don't remember what that one's called, though. But yeah, this is a model. Again, one of the unreleased Eaglemoss models that Master Replicas sold. So you can't get this anymore other than on the secondhand market. But this was a model that a lot of people I know were pretty excited for. And actually, I think for a long time had wanted to make wanted Eaglemoss to make a Caretaker's array. I was never too fussed about it myself, honestly. Like, I could have really kind of took it or leave it. But I think they've done a pretty good job, especially with how fragile it is. You know, Eaglemoss has history with models that, you know, are kind of fragile. The Bajoran Solar Sail, for example. But yeah, I don't know. It's just a design that's never... I mean, it serves its purpose. It's a big array that brought Voyager to the Delta Quadrant. But it's never been a design that's I've been crazy for. I guess it's really been noteworthy for me. As a model, though, this is, as you can see, quite big, at least for a station. I mean, it is unusually tall compared to how wide it is. There are models this wide. Not too many, but in the special edition range, you know, it's not too unusual for that size. And it's actually, hang on, let me go get it. If you want to see Eaglemoss learning their lesson, here's the Caretaker box, which comes in all this like nice, I want to call it velvet. I don't know, it's probably just a type of styrofoam, but the really fancy and secure packaging that like the gold starships come in. So yeah, I don't think I ever saw anyone who had this arrive broken, no matter how much the Postal Service decided to beat it up for, you know, just looking at it funny. But yeah, it's pretty well done. All of these little arrays, actually, I'm not sure about that one. I think pretty much all of these are big plastic pieces. They look like the kind of things with Lego or like model work that you'd poke these out, or like a board game to get the little pieces. I don't know what that type of casting is called. But yeah, it's just a whole bunch of those sticky out things. I think this kind of this kind and this kind repeated. And then the central structure that I'm probably going to hit the camera a lot. Oh, look at that. We've got like a nice little beauty shot. Yeah, and here, the core is actually, in my opinion, where most of the interesting things are. There's a lot of kind of... is it still weathering? I think it's weathering. It feels weird to say weathering in space. Deep space especially. But that's kind of where, as I said, a lot of the interesting stuff for me is I get really zoomed in here. Very Star Wars vibes, actually. Like this little open hangar, which I guess, you know, Star Trek has that. But mostly these two shades of gray, repeated, kind of Bespin, Cloud City, or Death Star-esque almost. Very Empire. And just grimy. You know, Star Trek very rarely does grimy, whereas Star Wars is very grimy. And so zoomed out, I'm like, yeah, that's the Caretaker's array. I don't know, does Star Wars really do big arrays? Star Trek actually does. They've got a lot of big arrays or solar or random probes. I mean, I'm not fully versed in Star Wars, but I can't really think of an array in Star Wars like this. And then down here, you of course get the scene where Luke learns that what's his face? Darth Vader is his father. I'm realizing I made Bespin jokes for the Space Dock video, didn't I? But yeah, it's the entire station is greebly. I think maybe that's why I wasn't as fussed about having a model of this. Is it's not really designed in an in-universe sense. Obviously, someone took a lot of time and care designing this. But you know, it's a relay station. It's an array, it plucks ships from across the galaxy and brings it to it. So you need some kind of power thing. You need just some place for people to be. The plot demands it, and it also just kind of makes sense for a station. You need a whole bunch of arrays, that's just what you need. And looks like some way to direct or focus, like, it would beam its arrayness up, which I know isn't how it works, but it's kind of like an entirely, I guess, functional, which I guess in that sense it actually is designed in universe, yes. But, when we just did the Jubayar, which is like sculpture and art, whereas this is much more like, yeah, it's an array. I also waned a bit on the kind of gotta collect them all aspect of Eaglemoss when it went under, and I had started looking at other things for my disposable income. In the end, I did collect most everything, all Discovery, all Universe, except for like some of the weird con exclusives like the Glen. Most of Stowe, and I think that there's like 4 or 5 ships across all the collections I don't own. They've just got on a list. So I did pretty good for myself. Yeah, you've got a lot of interesting angles. If you were into photography, kind of distinct silhouettes all around, and this little, rotation. I'd probably like this a lot more if you could hang it or set it on something that just slowly rotated. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen, I've got one of them, the little like planets. They're in like a glass sphere. And they're suspended in a liquid, but it looks like they're the size of the sphere. The liquid kind of magnifies it, and they just slowly spin. They've got like a little solar panel on the inside. I don't know what they're called, but kind of like that for the Caretaker array. It makes it a bit more interesting. I don't know. I feel like I like it more when you do this. This actually improves it a lot for me, which is weird. I don't know. It gives it more of like a I'm actually in space, I'm actually doing something kind of vibe. The very thing that people kind of complained about Deep Space Nine and just sitting there slowly rotating in space. Whoops, there we go. I've just given everyone whiplash. It really does it for me. And I suppose I never complained about Deep Space Nine sitting in space spinning, so the story checks out. You got a real weird standus too to kind of go around this and then hook in there. It does hook in. You can see these kind of 4 prongs that hook in. Can you see in between the arrays? Right there. Let's see if I can get this on camera. There we go. So it's stuck in there. I'm pretty sure you can do it either way. Yeah. I've just turned it on its side, so when I put it on a shelf, the stand, the model is bigger than the stand. This technically is, but it feels a lot more natural to me just to do it the other way. Looking closer, we've also got up here a bunch of little greeblies, just kind of panels and bumps to make it a little bit more interesting. But yeah, to me, I don't know, if you're really into the Caretaker's array, if you're really into Voyager, you maybe got like a little 3D printer, you want to do model shots. I've seen stuff like that. People have cool. They've made it to scale Voyager. That's probably like my thumbnail or something, just hanging by there. This might be worth picking up. It's probably not, you could probably find it not for like horrible prices on the secondary market, especially in a little bit. If you just let things cool down. But yeah, I don't know. It's just not the biggest thing for me. So if you missed out on this model and really want it, you probably are sitting there furious in your chair right now. But it's not like these sold out quickly. Anyone who wanted one and knew about it could very easily have gotten one. So yeah, I think I will probably call that there then and say thank you all for watching. Try not to end up in the Delta Quadrant, though apparently nowadays that's just not really an issue. If Okana can get there in a craft that does like flippin' Warp 2 or whatever. Grumble, grumble, grumble. I like Prodigy, but I really don't like how Prodigy made the Delta Quadrant like next door. Going to the Delta Quadrant in Prodigy is like a trip to Betazoid. It's like, yeah, you can do it. It's just gonna take a tiny bit of time. Wow, that was a rant I wasn't expecting. Oh, we'll never get a Protostar from Eaglemoss. I just remembered that. That's a bit unfortunate. But we'll never get an Enterprise G, so pros and cons. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Yes, I hate the Enterprise G.